Hello, everybody. Today I'm with Jessica Henson, owner of Omega Fitness, for another endeavor of Bruises and Brews. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Can't complain. Can't complain at all.
We woke up right.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. So she has been a part of my life since I moved to Dare County, one way or another.
Yeah.
Like
So you're probably like 12 or 13.
13. Yeah, 13. I grew up in her backyard. Inside the house, taking trips to Gatlinburg, Atlanta. Like, I don't know where all I went. I'm still grateful that they took me. Still grateful that my mom allowed me to leave at 14 to go out of state and across state with people. Phenomenal person. Helped me in any way that I have ever asked, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
So that's just a short, little, I guess, backstory in a way. You've never really been out of shape. I've never seen you overweight, any of that nature. But what drove you to come into the fitness business? Like, what was the drive there? Not just the business, but like the lifestyle. I see you on Facebook. You're eating clean. You're just, the whole lifestyle has changed from when I first met you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, naturally, just genetically, I'm a petite person. Always have been. But originally, I got into fitness just honestly from a breakup. And I think a lot of women actually gravitate to transforming themselves after a grief of some sort or some type of loss.
Right.
And it's always been just something, it's like a vice.
But at least you
it
picked a
keeps
good
me
one.
sane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You picked a good
So
one.
if I have 3 or 4 days there I don't get to work out, I get a little antsy. But it just developed over time. It's everything. It wasn't like planned.
Right.
It's just this evolved into this,
So
and
it
just
went
fell
from you
into
working out to you wanting to help other people in a way, or just
seeing so well way down the line.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in the gym since I was probably around 20 or 22 years old. And of course back then women didn't really know about lifting weights as much. It's more getting on the ellipticals or the treadmills and things like that. So
Right.
That's what I did, and then I started kind of get involved with the weights, doing my research, and discovered that that's how I was going to achieve the physique that I wanted.
right.
Aside from all the health benefits that I learned about it. So initially it was chasing the aesthetic. I think that's why a lot of people do get involved in the gym, because they want to have a different type of appearance. But also on the flip side, there's a majority of people who do get involved just for health reasons. And I just saw that there was a need to
Definitely.
relay truthful information to the public, because I discovered so much false information doing my own research and trial and error. And then you try these things, you do what people will recommend. Early on when you don't really know, you meet people in the gym, they're like, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
But I've learned that you don't take financial advice from someone just because they have a bank account.
Right.
So
Right. Remember, do your research. We talk
Yes.
about that all the time. It may work for her. It might not work for you. It may put you in a set point to where it will guide you in the right direction. But like you said, whatever works for one may not work for the other.
Right.
Then you got to watch out for the ones who are doing it not so naturally.
yes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to each their own.
Yeah, right,
But
right.
they still have to put the hard work in.
Right.
There's
It's
no
not an easy
there's no
button.
way
People don't
around
understand that either.
No.
Even if you do
No.
supplement in ways, it's still not like, here I am. You
Yeah.
still have to
You still have
do
to
the labor
do the
for
work.
that. Yeah. Agreed. So you had a place over Mall Boulevard?
Yes.
And you was
I did
private
private,
gym,
yeah.
private.
So how all that got started back 14, 15, I think is when we got started at Anytime Fitness. Prior to that, I'd always been a YMCA member, and I made some really cool friends there. Tay Bailey, Kevin Curtis, both of them really pushed me in the direction of fitness, even more so than I already was. And they knew that I had a desire to help people, and I was learning and researching and would pick their brains and talk about fitness and health and things like that. And Kevin actually pushed me. He's like, why don't you just get your certification? He had his, and he's just go do it.
So at
So
that
I was
point,
like,
you
okay.
become the personal trainer?
Yeah, so I got my certification, and at that time I was doing in-home training. So I would go to people's houses, I would write their plans based on the equipment they had, and we would do that. Or I would write plans for people to do on their own. I didn't have a place to actually go and work out with people, because I didn't want to be locked down to only working at one
Right.
gym. And most of the gyms in the area, if you're going to train there, you have to train there. You can't train anyone anywhere else. I didn't want that.
Right.
I wanted freedom. So I did that for a while, and then I started training some clients at the activity center, and that was really great there because I could use more equipment other than what people just had at home.
Right.
And one of the clients I had at the time, she's like, "Why don't you just open your own place?" So I'm like, okay. So this was literally at 10 o'clock in the morning, like on a Tuesday morning, and I went home and I talked to Brian. I was like, why don't we try to find a place where I can just do just private training. You know, I can do it on minimal equipment. I can figure out how much equipment I need, how many pieces I need, the most, you know, whatever's the most versatile, so I can have it a small footprint. I'm not going to need a lot of space. And that was at 10 o'clock, around 10, 11 that morning. 1 o'clock we were looking at a space, and by 2 o'clock we already had it locked in.
So the ball really just,
Yes.
I mean, it happened.
That's the way it rolls with us. If it's not on fire and going 100 miles an hour, it doesn't happen for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did the step go from private, you know, place to what we're setting in now to Omega?
That was in 18 when we opened that. And anyone who knows my husband knows that he has an amazing business sense and just a brain that's always working. One of our things that we say is you got to figure out a way to make money while you sleep.
Yeah.
And that's legit what you have to do. You have to do that, especially now in this society where everything is so expensive. So we were looking at, you know, how can we expand? How can I, because I wanted bigger. I wanted to help more people.
Right.
And if I had a commercial gym, I could indirectly help so many more people than I could just on my own.
Right.
So literally every day when I would go into the studio, I was like, I'm going to own a commercial gym someday. That was my plan.
The ball started rolling
you
in.
speak stuff into existence.
Yeah.
So in 19, my husband reached out to the previous owners of Omega, and at that time it wasn't the time for them to sell. They were like, no, not right now. So in 2020, right at the cusp of COVID, that's when they called. Yeah. So a friend of mine, the guy she was dating at the time, would get information about auctions, and there was a gym in Arkansas that had been foreclosed on. It was only a year or two old. So we found out about this auction with all this pretty much brand new equipment. That was on a Wednesday. So she's like, here, you know, you might need something for the studio. So I'm looking at everything and telling him about it. I was like, I don't know, we'll just kind of see. On Friday, we got the call from the previous owners like, hey, are you still interested in buying the gym? On Sunday, they wrote out a deal to buy the gym, and on Monday, I was bidding on equipment. On Wednesday, we had everything done. So
there you go.
That's how it goes. And so not only did it happen within a week, we bought the gym, moved the gym to a different location, upgraded all the equipment, all during the COVID shutdown.
When everything was supposed to be.
When gyms were not even open.
Yeah. So great progress in a horrible time.
Right. We actually closed on purchasing it on April 30th, and gyms reopened on May 1st.
It worked out well.
Yeah,
Then. Worked
it
out
did.
real well.
I was sick for a few weeks,
Thinking,
just like,
what if it stays?
what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? But you know, Brian's like, it's just details.
It's
going to work out. It's just details.
During the lockdown.
Yes, just hoping that we'll be able to make money off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and that it'll be fruitful.
Right.
You know, that we're not going to stay shut down because nobody knew what was going to happen at that time. And the response that we've gotten it's been phenomenal. I mean, we have...
It's cool that you have the communal support, you know.
Oh, 100%.
I know quite a few people that go here. Sorry, not a member. I'm still locked in with Ultimate Fitness. I know this. But eventually, I live in New Bern. Well, I'm going to go back. I've been injured. But, so like, off camera, just before we started all this, you had a phone call, and it was not a massive incident, but like, what does the average work week look like for you, and how do you balance the things that just happened with your home life to where everything is as smooth as it can be? Like, what's your average hours, you know, as an owner of having two places now? Like,
anybody that's self-employed will tell you that they're never off the clock.
Yeah. Always at somebody
it is.
else's time.
I mean, we have set hours here now. the way it is now as compared to a year ago is totally different because a year ago we had an employee and we were staffed certain hours during the day, and now we have 2 facilities and neither facility is staffed. Everything is completely web-based. So we have a QR code on the front window. Someone could walk up at 3 o'clock in the morning, scan that QR code, buy their membership. They'll receive a text to download our app. They create a login and a password. They have immediate access to get into the gym.
Right in.
They don't have to wait for someone to be here for them to sign papers. They can do it all online. So that gives us the freedom to where, as long as I've got the gym phone with me, I can take calls wherever I am.
Right.
So we have a lot more time freedom there, and we have a great processing company that handles all of our gym memberships, and we can't say enough great things about them and how supportive and how much we rely on them. And I mean, they're phenomenal.
Well, if you would want to, you can drop their names and give a shameless plug.
It's Peak Performance.
Yeah.
They're out of Utah.
There you go.
But they've been great.
Yeah, you
great.
guys would say you can shine on them if you want to. I just don't want to bring personal people in.
No, I totally get it. Totally get it.
So evidently it's not too bad, really. Then I mean, like you say, you're kind of on the clock, but you're not really physically have to be anywhere.
Now, as far as like my personal work, as far as personal training and nutrition clients and things like that, I'm usually around 15 to 20 hours a week. But I base that off of the time freedom that I want.
Right.
That's part of why we've built this the way that we did, so that we do have that time freedom, because I do still have small kids that are in high school. They're both going to be in high school now, but I'm still needed as a mom, and I've got to balance that.
Right.
So I make my work hours during their school hours, and I have time at home with them.
Hunting down popsicles at Food Right for baseball camp.
Yes.
Right.
Coach's wife. Yes.
Hey, is there any more plans for expansion? Any more facilities, possibly, or are you going to be always looking for involvement?
Yeah, we've got a number in mind that we would like to have, but it's finding. We really like the smaller towns, 3 to 6 or 7,000 population that have a need for a 24/7 clean, safe facility to become healthier. There's not a lot. You don't see a lot of gyms that are privately owned, and we are. Most of your gyms are franchises. Now, Ultimate is privately owned, the same, and they've been in business forever. But majority of your gyms that you see around are your box gyms.
Gym.
Yes. So having that privately owned feel and knowing your members and your members being able to come to you and say, hey, have you ever thought about putting a gym here?
Right.
Because that's literally how we ended up in Trenton. One of our members came here and he's like, I really wish y'all would open one in Trenton. And that was in June of 2020. I was like, give me 3 years. Give me 3 years. And 3 years later, we started working on the Trenton project, and it took us about 14 months to execute that.
I haven't been to that gym. Is it kind of the same layout?
Yes.
Or?
I try to keep the same layout, the same equipment. I want it as so that because members can go between the facilities. Right. That way, if they go from one to the other, they know what they're walking into.
Gotcha.
Everything is consistent. It's clean. You know what to expect when you walk in the doors, and the layout is very similar as well.
As far as the cleaning, do y'all take care of that? Do y'all staff?
We have a great employee, Karen Gordon. She keeps it as clean as I push her to be, because I'm extremely anal about it. But I can't say enough things about her. She's been great. She's been great.
I mean, that's awesome. To I guess to be able to not have to be here and have someone of I guess the caliber person she is to just take care of it to the level that you want it to be done.
Yes.
There's no question. You don't have to,
She and I are a lot of
she
and I are the same when it comes to that stuff. That she's just as proud of this gym as we are, and I feel like our members are too. I mean, every now and then we may have an issue, but we have great members that will step up and take care of it and say, "Hey, I saw this, I fixed it. Just letting you know."
Right.
And we can't. I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them and their support, especially in another town that's 40 minutes away from us, and the support we've had over there has just been phenomenal as well.
So it doesn't, like you're talking about the box gym, it has a home feel to it. Like you can, when we walked in, you spoke to a client by spoke first name, how you doing?
Yeah.
So and the interaction there seems pretty fluid, I would say.
Yes.
Every time I've been in here, it's always been clean. It's always been, you know, a little soft music playing, whatever. You know, you have that big gym feel, but it's just a smaller
Yeah.
package.
And it's like I've ever since we've, you know, been over here and I've come in and, you know, you'll see people in here working out and they may not even know each other, and the guy's like, hey, can you spot me? And
Right.
they go and they help each other.
Yeah, don't snarl their nose or
No.
yeah.
No.
That's always a plus, because you do have that sometimes in other gyms. You have the bigger guys that are, you know, just don't
Yeah.
want nothing to do with the look, like, why are you, you know, look
Yeah.
at you like, why are you even in here?
You know, judgment-free places.
Right. No safe zones.
Right.
But I guess, like, if someone wanted to get a hold of you for nutrition or,
Yeah,
you know,
so-
not just a gym membership, but like you personally, how would they go about that? Like, when's the best time, or would social media, like, is there...
Social media is one of the best ways. Obviously through our Facebook page or email or calling us direct. So I am a certified personal trainer. I have been since 2017. And that's through ACE, and I'm a NASM certified nutrition coach. I have a fitness nutrition specialist certification as well, cancer exercise specialist certification, and then countless hours of continuing education, because with those certifications I have to recertify every 2 years. One of them I have to take the complete exam again because of technology and things change.
Yeah.
Studies, you know, show different things than they did 3, 4, 5 years ago. So I have to re-up on all of that every 2 years. So pretty much every year I'm doing something to increase my knowledge base so that I can help my clients even more.
Stay ahead of or try to stay ahead or
Yes.
with the curve at
Yes.
least of the evolution of technology.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, I think that's about all I got for you today.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great.